And we're live. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Howdy, howdy.
How's everybody doing this evening?
Glad to see you all here. We got all the comments going already. I see Darren, William, Edward, John Rowe from Maine. Welcome, John. Thomas, Rick, Charles, Doug, Philip, Jimbo, Alice, Bob, Ben, Herman. Alice, I might have a project for you tonight. Connie. Hi, Connie. Patty, good. We got women. We got women hanging around with us tonight. That's great because I might have a project for you guys tonight. If you need a last minute special something for Father's Day, first off, I want to say happy birthday to the Army. I believe today is their 250th anniversary. So they're older than the country by almost a year, or more than a year. A couple days, a couple weeks more than a year. So, which that's kind of strange, isn't it? That we had an army before we had a country.
I sold every one of my Army coasters at our show today.
I bet you did. Yeah. Yeah. Today's a big day for the Army. So let's get started. Let's see how many people we got. We got 67 people. And I had 2 or 3 people ask me, why do you play that intro before, the starting soon thing? And I go back and trim it off after on the replay. But we do that because YouTube sends out notifications to people. So we try and start 4 or 5 minutes early and start the live stream 4 or 5 minutes early. And that way all of the notifications go out and everybody that's on their phone gets to see, hey, the Laser Makers Realm is live or Louisiana Hobby Guy is live. Light Source Engraving, you know what I'm saying, HTL
Yep.
Customs. So that's why we start a little bit early with that intro, is to get everybody in here. And I see there's still more people coming in. So welcome, everybody. Glad to see you all here. Tonight, I'm going to do a project that probably women or grandparents are going to be interested in. And I'll show you that in just a minute. But Patrick, what are you doing tonight?
I have a couple phone stands, simple stands cut out of wood that you can put any graphic that you would like into them or onto them. And let me just show you real quick what I'm talking about. We select light burn.
That microphone
All
is
right.
sounding good tonight, Patrick.
It's probably where my updated internet speeds. Everything's probably better.
Yeah.
All right. So I have the phone stand patterns here. I'm just going to copy these and paste them over here.
Yeah, those
So let's say
basic stands are the best ones.
So let's say you have a pattern like this honeycomb that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take this pattern and actually engrave that onto our phone stand. So I'm going to select, let's see, this one first, the phone stand itself, then the pattern, and then go to Boolean, and then we're going to subtract. And here we go. We have our phone stand pattern, and then I'm going to make that blue. Let me show the blue.
Cool.
So now we have a basic honeycomb. Now, if you want to work with that a little more, let me hide this. Show this. Let me see. Let me grab that. Control C, Control V. Show this one again. We'll line those up. And then I'm going to turn them both blue just by clicking the blue layer again. And then we can get just the outline of that. Or you can work with it further if you want to do an offset. And let's say you want to do something like that. Oops, not that far. Wait a second. I know what it did. Didn't grab them both.
Yeah.
Nope, there's something back behind there.
Yeah, you got that cut layer behind it. Turn it off.
Yep. No, it's still doing it. That's weird. I just did this using the same process on this one.
Don't you love it?
Of course. It's because I'm live. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. Oh, well. Anyway,
that looks
you get
good
the point.
anyway. So you got two different choices there.
Yeah, so say we do this one and do an offset. Let me just grab one.
Yeah.
There. So then you can start playing around with how you want that to look.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can always offset it again. And then get a look that's similar to this here. So just play around with your patterns, or you can just fill in the spaces here with a simple graphic. And here, engrave the base if you want. But I'm just going to make these tonight.
Okay, cool. So before we go down to Jeremy, I guess I should probably show you my file for tonight. Last minute Father's Day. By the way, these files are already available. They're right below the video. If you click on that little ... more to open the description, you'll see a link to the download there. Just right click on that link and then choose Save Link As, and then save it to wherever it is that you want. Unzip the file, and you'll be able to see all of our files in there. So you can do that now while I'm talking. Although maybe you want to see this, but for people that need a last minute gift. So you might be a wife with children, or you might be a grandparent with young grandchildren. I've gone ahead and done a quick board here that says "About My Dad," and so you go ahead and engrave and cut this out, and then the child fills this out: his name, his dad's name, how old is his dad? He has whatever hair and eye colors, his job, he loves to eat, he's happy when, he just fills out all of these blanks. Real simple project. And then you can take and put a command strip on the back, and dad can bring it into his office and stick it on the wall in his office, or he can put it on the refrigerator, wherever he wants. And I think this will just be a fun project. I saw somebody do something very similar to this about a year ago. In fact, exactly a year ago, on Father's Day. And I started to do it, make a different version of it. And I got to, the cut line and the About My Dad. And that was about all I got. So I wound up finishing this up today. And if you're wondering, um, how I did these outline here, what I did was just a circle and a copy a long path. That's all I did. And then I welded them. So I selected all the circles and the line and the pat and the line, and then just hit the weld button just to make those. Then I duplicated it, put it in here for the blue, and I set the I duplicated the blue, so I had two of them, grouped them together, set it to fill on a different layer, and I'm going to do this one in offset fill. So you're going to see this actually run live for the first time tonight, and since I made it, and hopefully I've got all of my settings right. Now, keep in mind that on this, you have to set all of your own settings, your powers and your speeds and all. And in the download folder that's got my name on it, you're going to see 3 different files in there. One is going to say bottom left origin, top left origin, and top right origin. So depending on your machine, depends on the one that you should open. This way it opens in the correct orientation for your machine. So that's what I'm going to do tonight live on the laser behind me. All right, let's move on to, let me get back on scene here. Let's move on to Jeremy. Jeremy's doing something completely different tonight. Jeremy, what are you doing?
Well, let's just set the stage. This week, the engine in my wife's car blew up. So that started to scramble to get my secondary vehicle back on the road, which needed a lot of parts and a lot of time. So I didn't have time to get in the shop this week. But I had something that I've been using, and it's this little parts tray. It's 6 inches by 6 inches. There's 4 compartments in it. And I made this in Tinkercad. And so it's, my design, similar to something else I've seen. But I made some changes to it for my big fat fingers. It's got rounded edges on the inside so you can grab stuff up out of there. So that STL is in, that's what I shared this week, because I find these little trays so handy. I've actually printed a couple, and I've given one to my dad already. I've given one to a friend of mine for his dad. I got one here. I got another one in the house. So, and I've got a big one that's 125 scale, and it's taken 4 hours to print. It'll be done in a half hour. So I'll get that one off and show it to you when the printer quits.
Okay, cool. So that's what we've got going on for tonight. I've got the Father's Day plaque. Patrick has got the cell phone stands, and Jeremy has got the STL file if you have a 3D printer. All of those are in the zip package that's below the video right now. And so with that said, I think we should get started. So hello to everybody in the comments. I'm putting them up on the screen for the replay so that people can see them in the replay. I am going to go turn on, well, my laser is already on. I already framed it and got it set up. So I'm just going to go back into Lightburn and get this job started.
Yeah, V, I just dumped this out. It had all my little parts for my 3D print inlay stuff in here. It's in a pile behind me now, just so I can show you guys the tray. So yeah, I sort all my little stuff into that. I love these things.
I think for my phone stand that has the honeycomb that's filled in, I'm going to do an offset fill and see how that offset fill turns out on that honeycomb. We'll just do it on some 3mm birch plywood and see how it turns out.
Good morning, Australia. I see that comment up there.
I did have to turn on my fume extraction. Is that too loud, guys?
I can't hear it. I think your sound suppression is doing its job.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. Not too bad at all.
I've got the air conditioner is on, the laser is on, the chiller is on, and the fume extractor. It's really, I can hardly hear anything. Yes, happy Father's Day to everyone.
Absolutely. I just saw that pop up.
Happy Army Day, happy Father's Day. Hey, Bob, glad you can make it.
Happy honeydew list day off day.
Hey, B. Well, it's like one day at a time, B. So I've got this PT going on, and that seems to make things worse, but uh, all I can say is one day at a time. It's very slow recovery from this back surgery, but I'm doing better.
I'm going to turn on my overhead lights so there's more light at the laser, but it's going to wash me out bad. There they go.
Howdy, howdy, everybody. Coming in. Hit that like button. It helps.
According to Lightburn, it looks like this is going to take 11 minutes on my laser.
Oh, wow.
Good thing I framed that. I still had rotary in it.
Another thing, too, is the reason why it's going to take so long is because I've got the black layer set to line after fill, and there are tons of lines on here, and that's just going to take up a lot of extra time. And I did slow that down and lowered the power quite a bit, the line after fill, because I don't want it to cut through. So I did the fill at 600 millimeters a second and 35 power, and then I did the line after fill at 250 and 15% power.
Hey, Jack. Greg.
Oh, and I just wanted to mention that you do need to do a line after fill on this, because there are the holding hands and the graphics themselves that are on there. Those are all fine lines. Yes. So Laser Nerd is asking, is that an RM laser? Yes, it is. It's the RM J750. Thank you,
See,
Adam.
Dwight, don't punch the TV.
Greg is saying you could add magnets under your tray for small screws or parts.
Yep, I saw that. I did the thumbs up and nodded while you were talking. Yeah, I could definitely thicken up the bottom and add some stuff in there.
I don't use trays myself. I just take one of my magnets and throw the screws at it, and it catches it.
That's what I do. I got a pile of them up there for plywood. When I do stuff, I just stick it up on the honeycomb and throw my screws on it.
Dwight, this is more important than a hockey game. You can always watch the replay. Hey, Jack.
I just heard him say that about this show.
Well, this is better to watch the live because you get to see it live, and then you can ask any questions. And that whole laser was just rocking right now on that one little part up there at the top.
Looks like Patrick's having an earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about
Camera.
that.
The old Ring of Fire's lighting up though. I've been watching the earthquakes around that. It's picking up intensity here for the last couple of days.
Yeah, Dwight, you can just watch the game on your phone. Bob says he has a magnetic bowl for his screws,
I got a
but
couple of those out in the shed for my.
he still has some loose screws. Getting seasick in West Virginia. I think Patrick's done moving that camera.
Yeah, it's not moving anymore.
Welcome, Sylvester. Glad to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing 3 different projects tonight. Laser Nerd says, something I do for fine lines is change my scan angle to 45 degrees since your x-axis acceleration is very low compared to x. It really helps with detail. Just another way to do it. Yeah, I like using the line after fill. It really, really brings out the really fine lines. So I get like a shadow from the engraving on these really delicate um, graphics that I use, and then the laser goes back and does that line after, and really brings out. You'll see, brings out the definition.
I have never heard of that diode laser. The heck is a
Uh,
Zibetu M81 FF80?
there's a million different diodes.
Yes, Greg, you could absolutely enlarge it for a tablet.
I just recently learned Viver has diode lasers.
Just don't. Just keep in mind the slots and the tabs. That they stay proportional.
Another thing I wanted to mention, which is going to take quite a bit of time, is on this offset fill here, this blue line. There are 4 of them. So the offset fill, if we take a look at it, I know you can't see this right now because I'm so small, but I've got the lines per inch set to 100 lines per inch. So that way it makes 4 lines. So it's going to go around and do 4 of those lines. All right, and there we go with the line after fill. I still need to talk to Jason about why Lightburn does the random line after fill. You know, you might have a line of text at the top that says welcome, and it'll do the W, and then at the bottom you might have another line of text that says howdy, and we'll go all the way to the bottom and do the Y, and then go back up to the top and do the O. You see how it's jumping all over the place doing that line after fill?
Is that into your priorities settings?
No, I've got all the settings set right. So to reduce moves and travel moves and all that stuff.
I've noticed my Lasermatic doing that too, so it's got to be in Lightburn.
Joe, it is it's not
Art
a Lightburn
library.
file. It's an art library. So on your art library tab, you have to click load and then browse to that file. Then you'll get to see Patrick's file in your art library. So I hope that helps. I'm new to this particular live. I have an Atom Stack S10. I keep having camera alignment issues. Same thickness, just on my next job. Do you guys have any tricks? Well, it depends on the camera. So I don't know what camera that you're using. I don't think the S10 comes with one. But if the camera is not mounted permanently in the same exact position, hey, pop up, better late than never. Yeah, I'm not sure how to help you with the camera issue. The camera does have to be mounted permanently, and if it moves even slightly, it's going to be off. It would be nice if Lightburn would do a drag and drop, but that's just nice to have. You can drag and drop anything into Lightburn. Any graphic, any photo, anything like that.
Yeah, you can copy out of Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah.
Just the graphic, the vectors that are on screen, and paste them in the Lightburn.
So Mark's saying it's just a webcam, but it's mounted securely. Yeah, webcam might not. You really need like a 5 megapixel camera for it to work well.
Yeah, I bought a webcam and put it on the enclosure that I made for the Falcon 2, and I kept having issues with that one too every once in a while, so I just quit using it.
Okay, not into the art library. Is that the same person that was having a problem getting Patrick's files?
No.
No, I don't know what not into the art library means.
And what you
I
want
had
to
a hard
do is
time with it too.
wherever you extract your file to, go to right here in Art Library, load, select the
Hang on,
file, and it'll be a.
hang on 1 second, Patrick.
So go to your Art Library tab, click load, and then wherever you saved your Art Library or extracted it on your PC, it could be in your downloads folder or wherever your default folder was there. Just select the .lbart file,
Oh,
open.
okay. Yeah, we got a better explanation. So the can't drag and drop into the art library. Yeah, you have to import. You have to click the import button.
Then all you have to do is just add it to your project.
Okay, so now mine is doing that squiggly offset fill. Let me just go in full screen for 1 minute so you can see it better. So it's going to do four of those offset fills, and then it's going to come back and do the cutout. I don't know why it just did that. It does that on offset fill on the CO2 a lot. It does the first two, and then it'll like reset, and then go back and do the second two. But after this, it'll get to the cut.
Yeah, it looked like it went and hit the corners for some reason.
It goes to the bottom left corner, and then it goes back to the top right corner and starts again. I don't know why it does that in offset fill. My diode lasers don't do that. Only my two CO2s do that. And mine is just about done, and it looks like 11 minutes was spot on.
Lightburn just uses your system fonts, so install it into Windows, and Lightburn will pick it up.
Yep.
You don't need to restart or anything. It'll just show up in your list.
Yeah. And there's the final cut. I'll be able to go over there, and I'm going to dust it off with a paintbrush before I touch it. Because if I touch it, I'll get the oils from my fingers on the wood. It'll smear the soot. All right, there we go.
see. Phone stand on the left is getting close, so it'll start to offset fill pretty soon. I did it with 0.5 millimeter line spacing, so it won't take too long.
Okay. Come back to my camera. All finished over there. Put this down. And let me show you my final project now. So here it is. Not completely clean yet. There's still a little hazing there. I'll just take a wet cloth and wipe that down. But there you can see these fine graphics, which you probably wouldn't see if I didn't do the line after fill. They filled in. And this is the first prototype, by the way. First time I ran it, so I had my fingers crossed. But yeah, that's it right there.
It's good.
Now all you do is just on the back side, just put a what do you call it? I forgot the name now to stick it up. Come on, guys, help me out.
Command strip.
Command strip. Just put a command strip on the back side, and then stick it onto whatever you want. And when you need to remove it, just grab it. Put the command strip up by the top. When you need to remove it, grab it by the bottom and pull up, and the Velcro will come apart. And then you just grab the bottom of the command strip and pull down on it, and the whole thing comes off clean. You can put it onto any type of painted wall or anything like that. Looks great. Good job. Thank you, Laser Nerd. Laser Nerd, do you have a YouTube channel? Greg is saying, I did a couple of hat patches, brushed nickel and black acrylic on my Lasermatic. I got a nice satin look using low settings. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I have to use really low settings and high speed. I do my hat patches at 28,000 millimeters a minute, and I think 18% power.
Well, my tray's done.
Okay, let's see it. How do we use Jeremy's STL file? That you have to have a 3D printer. Oh, hang on. There we go.
Yeah, I know, reading comments. So there's the black one. That's the size of the STL file. The blue one is 125% blowed up.
Nice.
I like that. That's a good size. I'm going to use that a lot.
Next, you need to make them stackable.
I'm thinking that maybe.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe I can use that for something else, because I love my magnet. I just drop a magnet on the table when I'm, playing with screws and stuff, like cleaning the laser head or whatever, and I just throw them at the magnet, and it finds them quickly.
Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I use it for all my small parts when I'm 3D printing and cutting.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a mess. I just sort these all into what I got to do, and then I have them all set there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is using it for, cutout parts. Peter says, aloha.
Because you know how I like to get crazy. Aloha.
Does anyone here know of a Lightburn library for model building for model railroads? No. Never. Yeah, you're talking about an art library, I guess. As far as I know, I'm the only one that publishes art libraries. And all of my free libraries are at lahobbyguy.com. Just go to the forum. You have to be a member to see them, though. And
V,
membership is free.
this one's only blue because that's the filament that I had in the printer and it was dry.
Great
there you go.
snack trays.
You could skinny these up and make card trays out of them too for when you guys are playing euchre.
Yeah. V says that it was really cute. The kids will love that. Yeah, and what's even better is that it only takes a few minutes to make it. You know, this took 11 minutes, start to finish.
And just be careful. Little kids are very honest.
Do it in pencil, just in case.
With an eraser.
Jeremy, make a companion version that holds taco shells. So then you can have your taco fixins and then your taco shells right there.
Yeah, I could extrude that up a little taller and make it deeper. Yeah.
Let's take a look and see how Patrick's is coming out. Patrick, did you do a line after fill?
Yeah, it will do a line after fill.
Okay, cool.
So that's an offset fill at 0.5 millimeter line spacing.
I see that. You got to love the way the offset fill comes out. And you just do a couple of tests until you get it right, you know, for your particular project, and you can get some incredible results from it.
Or you do what I do and just wing it.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much.
But I love watching the offset fill, though.
Yeah, I do too.
Patrick, that laser looks like it needs to be cleaned.
Probably does.
Dirty bird.
Looks like you got some debris in the track there.
I clean it once a quarter. And June's almost going to be over soon. I'm joking.
How to open a file in Lightburn that says Photoshop. Lightburn won't open a Photoshop file, but if you just export that file, Bobby, as a PNG or anything you want, doesn't matter what it is, just export it as an image file, JPEG, bitmap, doesn't matter what it is, even a PDF, and you can import that into Lightburn. Is anybody having trouble downloading Patrick's file? Patrick's file is, again, I'm going to say it again, it's an art library. So if you it's not Patrick's file that's separate. You're downloading the whole zip package. And in that zip package, you're going to see the file from Patrick. That's an art library. So in Lightburn, you have to go to the art library tab, and you have to click the button that says load, and then browse to the file in Patrick's folder. Once you open that, then you can double click it and it'll come out onto the workbed.
Yeah, Mark, I don't have any here, but I did the nativity scene with the star high above, and I inset the acrylic into the wood, and for a light behind it to glow it yellow, and I had to mess with kerf quite a bit to get it to fit.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting it. It was pretty cool.
Mark, if you're trying acrylic and you've already found out color matters, yeah. So you need to have dark, opaque colors. So if you can see through the acrylic, you won't be able to cut it with a diode. Even if you can just see shadows through it, you still won't be able to cut it. So it has to be a solid color, has to be dark. On my Lasermatic, I have settings where I've cut black, red, blue, yellow, green, but you have to have the right acrylic. So it has to be dark and it has to be solid color.
So right now, I don't do that. I just 3D print them and put them in from the back. I ain't cutting acrylic anymore. Now that I got a printer. and I just make a little bit of a wide brim around it and glue it on so I don't get glue sticking through.
Oh, that's a good idea. You print it with a brim.
Yep.
That's an excellent idea. Wow. See, I told you guys, Jeremy comes up with lots of good ideas.
That particular color, though, if you put a LED light strip behind it, it lights up and it shows through that orange. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be nice. Welcome, Bobby. So there's that offset fill. I don't know about you guys, but I can watch a laser do an offset fill all day long.
Yeah, that Rolly sure is focused.
Yeah, that's what it's focusing on. Offset fills are very satisfying. They're like the Zen table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like when you're doing a paper job, when you're doing cardstock, and you're running the laser at high speed and it's cutting out all of these little cuts really quickly. You just sit there and watch it, and
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the whole thing. I did a greeting card, and the inside was I can't think of the word for it, but a pattern with little tiny triangles in it. The whole thing. So the outside was green, the inside was white, and I watched the white move at warp speed, cutting all these things out, shooting them out. The air assist is shooting them all off to the side, and it was just paralyzing. V says Jeremy is exceptionally creative. Sometimes he is, yeah.
Sometimes I beat my head against the wall to get something small out.
Yes, Paul, we agree. Happy birthday to the U.S. Army, 250 years. We talked about that in the beginning. The Army is older than the United States by a year and a couple weeks. Triangles equal tessellation. I don't even know what that word is. Watching the offset fill on the laser is just as satisfying as watching a pocket tool path. Oh yeah, on a CNC router. Yeah. Pop up saying that Barbara had her first chemo yesterday, and laser eye surgery today. Wow. We're constantly sending out prayers for Barbara to pop up. Better or worst? Tessellation is the name of the triangle path. Okay. I've never heard that before. New word. Word of the day. Tessellation. Joe says, I was lasering Christmas ornaments one night. My laser is in front of my office window. Looked out the window, and one of the feral cats was watching the laser. His head was going left and right.
Oh, that's cool. She bakes cakes. I make sausages. Wait a minute. That's a corn dog.
All right, let's take a look at Patrick again.
It's getting close. Only a couple minutes left.
All right, so in case any of you wanted to see what the settings was for this, I'll jump over into Lightburn and show you that real quick. So this was done on the RM J750 behind me, which is a 90 watt CO2, although the tube says it's 100 watt. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bespoke.
Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Any donations to the channel, by the way, go to the guys, and that way they can buy supplies. So Patrick and Jeremy get the donations from the live streams, and we appreciate that very much. It does cost a lot to do these live streams over the course of a year. And by the way, we're coming up on our 30-year birthday anniversary pretty soon. So let me show you in Lightburn what my settings were for this project. So again, this is a 90 watt CO2. It has a recce tube, and it says that it's 100 watt. So 90 to 100 watt, I guess. This is the black layer. So I've got the black layer set at 35 power constant because they're just vector graphics in fill mode, and 250 lines per inch. That's about right because you see 0.106, 0.1016 is the line interval. So my spot size on this laser is about 0.1 circular, and I have this set to fill all shapes at once. And I didn't show you the other one. So then there's the line after fill. So I set the line after fill at 250 millimeters per second with the max power of 15. And I did put a min power of 11. That's where the laser first fires.
Hey, stay there on number one. Go back to your number one fill.
Excuse me. I am going to stay here. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So this is an offset fill, the blue layer around the outside. And I set that at 115 millimeters per second and lowered the power down to 17. And even though it doesn't have corners,
Thank you, V.
Thank you.
It gets pretty close to the corners. Thanks, V. It gets pretty close to looking like it has corners, so I put the min power at 14. And then for the cut layer, I set this a little bit hot for 3 millimeter, but speed 32 millimeters per second, max power 60, min power 45. The cut layer, again, may not have corners, but I think it sees those little, this part right here as a corner right in here. So that's why I set the min power.
Thank you, Joe.
So those are the settings. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Much appreciated. Yes, pop. Everybody hit that like button. The more you like and the more you comment, especially after the live stream is over, if you make comments on the video after the live stream is over, you'll absolutely help us out quite a bit. Thank you, Joe. $20 from Joe. Much appreciated. Thank you all for the donations. We appreciate that. My wife is watching me tonight, and she sees the flag with the Statue of Liberty behind you. She liked. I have to look and see what that is. Let me see. The flag with the Statue of Liberty behind me. Don't know what that is. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Way back over, right over
You
there.
gotta move your noggin.
Okay. That was the project that I did on the Laser Makers Realm for July 4th of last year. So you can go to lasermakersrealm.com and go back and look for the post from July 4th from last year. And those files will be right below that video. You can watch that live stream, and you can download that file and make it yourself if she likes it. I'm pretty sure that's from the last year's July 4th. I hope it is.
Boy, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that you did that, but it probably was.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was July 4th last year. It could have been. Well, check all the holidays. July 4th, Memorial Day, No, it wouldn't have been Memorial Day.
Labor Day. No, it wouldn't have been Labor Day either, probably.
It's probably July 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at lasermakersrealm.com, all of these replays, even the live right now, is playing at that website. That's our blog. And you can go back and watch live streams for the past 3 years. Every 2 weeks for the past 3 years. It's like, I don't know, 8 pages of live streams. And every one of those, if you're watching on the website, you'll see right below the video, you can download the files right there. So uh, every one of them has got files. There are tons of files at lasermakersrealm.com.
I went back there and spent a half hour, 45 minutes searching through there to find a file that I had that disappeared off my computer, and I found it.
Well, that's good. Rick says, thanks. I know there was a layered welcome flag. Yeah, I need to go and organize that website a little bit and put what the projects are and all of the titles. But, we have a lot of work doing this. We're streaming to 4 different places. We're packaging up files, and I do most of that work. So
That would take a while to go back and do that to all those videos.
yeah, but no, not really. Not really, because I can tell just by downloading the package. I can download, extract the package. I can even go back to all of the lives on my computer, where I've got the files and look at the files there. Anne is saying, I was wondering if I have a 30-watt Lasermatic Mark II. Is engraving at 1800, 12.5. Is that a good setting? Well, it depends on what what that speed is. 1800 watt, millimeters per minute, millimeters per second. And it depends on what material. That won't cause a fire.
Yeah, like I just ran this plywood at 22,000 and 90% power.
Yeah. Well, anything at 12.5% power, I don't think it's going to start a fire on anything. But and it all depends on what material that you're using, whether you're in millimeters per minute or millimeters per second. And I have never started a fire with the Lasermatic, and I tend to run it pretty quickly. I run it at maximum speed, maximum power, unless I'm doing things like, paper or something like that. Millimeters per minute and birch plywood. Yeah, so you can go much higher than 18,000. You can do 30,000 and 100% power on birch, and you should get a pretty good result.
Yeah, I usually run like 20,000 and like 82 with my 30.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the 30, I like to run everything at full power if I can. And most materials you can on the Lasermatic. And with plywood, you're going to be looking at, I usually run plywood between 25 and 28,000 millimeters per minute and 100% power. And it comes out really, really nice on the 30 watt. Hey, Lori. Lori, you just getting here?
Laser Nerd's got a question there.
So I wanted to ask, am I the only one who thinks the market for laser tools that expand functionality is kind of slim, like rotaries and this kind of thing? For rotaries, I think every manufacturer makes a rotary nowadays. My favorite is a chuck roller. Most of the companies are making the chuck rollers. I don't wish for anything. Thank you, Tony.
There's a couple that are making like a conveyor belt and stuff that you can do like continuous jobs with, but they're not quite there yet for diode machines.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
The only accessory I've ever use, at least lately, is just the rotary, and then the business card jig to spin the business cards to do those a little faster. But I don't know, a tumbler jig for cylinder correction with the CO2 Galvo. That's my main used accessory other than a rotary.
Yeah.
But anything else, I just haven't really found the need for.
So Mark is
Occasionally
saying,
jigs, and then I just cut my own out.
what's the limiting issues for just swapping out a head on a 40 watt on the S10? So I don't know about Atom Stack, but usually when you're swapping out a head, most companies, like with Rolly Automation, if you're going from 20 to 30, you just swap it out. But I don't know about Atom Stack in the S10. Likely it's going to be a wiring difference. I believe the
Well,
original, the S10 was 12 watts and was it 12 watt, and the 20 watt was 24 watts. So I don't think they're compatible, but I don't know for sure.
you could have a power supply compatibility issue too. You might not be pumping enough juice in it.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Never mind.
Yeah, the original S10 was 12 watts, and or 12 volts. Excuse me, I said that wrong. 12 volts, and I think their 20 watt module or their bigger modules are all 40 watt is definitely going to be 24 volts. So you'd have to ask Adam Stack about that. Okay, there's Patrick. So these are minimalist cell phone stands, and I kind of like these. In fact, I have two of them. And I think Patrick gave them to me last year.
There, they should be in focus now.
Look how cool that offset fill looks, and it actually kind of shimmers.
A little bit.
As you
Almost
turn
reminds
it.
me of like a FIFA soccer ball.
Yeah, look at that. That's what I love about offset fill. Could have made that slot a little thinner there, Patrick. Mine stands up a little higher than that. The ones that the file you gave me last year.
Probably make that slot a little tighter.
Just
Can't
slip a
hear
dime in it.
you. I would just make the slots the thickness of the wood. It looks like you might have a wood difference there. Yeah, that slot's definitely too big. Oh, there you go. Maybe that's what it is.
Better that way. I'll take those all the way in. Not a problem.
I like these minimalist cell phone stands. They're nice.
Yeah, and you can flat pack them in your
Yeah, if you want to sell them,
wrapper.
and if you want to sell them, you can flat pack them and ship them in an envelope.
Yep.
I think this one's my favorite one.
Yeah, so that's like really similar to the one I have in my bedroom. That the file you sent me last year was like soccer balls, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Pop Up saying he loves the patterns, the offset fill.
Mm-hmm.
Some YouTube, watch some lasermakersrealm phone stand that came from the lasermakersrealm.
That's true. I'll have to make one for the office out here. All
Be
right,
careful of
so
the infinity screen.
we are at exactly 1 hour, so let's jump over to Q&A. So if you guys have any questions about lasers that we can answer for you, we'd be glad to. So upcoming for me, I got a new laser in the shop next door, a 100-watt MOPA fiber laser, and I'll be selling my 20-watt. So if you live anywhere near New Orleans and you're interested in a 20-watt Racus, I have that one for sale. It has very low hours on it.
Upcoming for me will be a video, since we were talking about laser accessories. I have here a rotary that will work with the Lasermatic. See that? It'll just plug right into the board.
Hang on a second.
Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a nice long cord. And see there? This is a Rotoboss Talon Pro that is designed for use with your typical diode laser with the Diva 17 stepper motor.
So does he have the plugs for various other lasers? Like if you just order whatever laser you have, they send that plug with it?
Yeah, for the ones with the bigger motors, absolutely, you can get them custom configured with like a 3-prong or 4-prong aircraft connector. But this one is just your standard stepper motor cable that you see on a 3D printer or your typical diode lasers. And then has the NEMA 17 that the stepper driver on the diode laser board can power.
Cool.
And I've did a few tests with that thing. This is one of them.
Nice.
Honeycomb pattern all the way around, and it came out exactly as I expected.
Nice. Well, I have to say I have something cooler than that. Hang on one second. Let's look at the questions. OhmTech K40 40-watt CO2 laser, any good? No. I'll just say that right now. I mean, it's okay. It's a disposable machine. You won't use it for more than a year or two, I guess. And they're really horribly built. I see the Monport Onyx 55-watt CO2 is on sale. Seems like a good deal. You know, I wouldn't recommend anything made by Monport except their fiber lasers. So their fiber lasers come from a decent factory, but everything else I would stay away from. You know, that's just
I have the Onyx setting here. It does a good job, but I haven't been using it heavily, so I can't speak to its long-term reliability under heavy use.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of issues with the Onyx.
So far, so good, but your mileage may vary. And like Rich, it's kind of buyer beware.
Yeah.
If
you ever need support, you can just forget about it. So the Laser Nerd says I have a 100-watt MOPA 2 if you need settings. If you have a Lightburn library, I would love to have that because I don't have any settings for this, and I'd rather not tweak my 60-watt MOPA settings. So if you do have a Lightburn library for that, I'd appreciate it. You can email it to thelasermakersrealm@gmail.com, and I'd really appreciate that. I did start it up. It was delivered today. It is from Monport, but like I said, it's their fiber laser, so I'm not too worried about it. And I did start it up today. It's a VSL source. It took from the time I opened the box until the time that I turned it on and went to set up Lightburn for it, all of about 4 minutes. So pretty neat. You know, the tower just folded up into place, put 2 screws in, pick it up, plug in the wires, stick in the USB in my computer, and import the settings. And really, really fast setup.
Wow.
I end up using my 50, 60 watt settings, adjust them when I'm using the 120, and half the time, probably more than half the time, forget to save them under the 120, and then I have to try to remember what project I did, open it up, and look at the settings. I need to get better with saving.
Johnny's saying that he loves his 80-watt OhmTech CO2. And a lot of people are going to say that, if it's working, you're going to love it. My 60-watt OhmTech that I had 3 years ago, well, first off, it arrived with several problems I had to fix, and it did a lot of work. I did a lot of work with it, but I also had to make a lot of little tweaks and a lot of little repairs to it. So OhmTech and Monport are...
Rich has a JPT source. It's a BSL controller card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a JPT MOPA. I didn't even see that.
The card is BSL.
What was the source? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Laser Nerd said he's going to send the library to you too, Patrick.
Patrick, thank you. I appreciate that.
sales@lightsource.pro is Patrick's email address. Jeremy, you can't get it.
I only got a 60-watt. Yeah, but you know what? My little 60-watt does fine.
That's close enough, though, for you, Patrick, because you have 120-watt and you don't have a full library for it, so that'd be a good starting point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Much appreciated.
We appreciate that. Laser Nerd has a 60-watt library, too. Well, you can send that one to me as well, because on my 60-watt MOPA, I only have about 8 materials in there, and it's very basic. But I was surprised when I started it up. I just took one of the black business cards, slapped it down, and I did a square, and the offset was perfect. I mean, I ran it and then went over there and said, no, that's not possible. The outline was down in the square, and I've never had that happen with a fiber before. So this is my 4th fiber machine. I've always had to tweak the settings to get that perfect. I haven't done the scanning offsets yet, but is there a good starter CO2 for 1,000? No, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to find a good starter CO2 unless you find something used.
Yeah, I was going to say Facebook Marketplace and hope it works.
There is a Facebook group called, let me go look at it real quick. Hang on a second. Let's see, groups. And search groups for laser for sale. I got to find the group that I'm in. It's funny. It's not going to show me now. Join. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's a different one. Never mind.
Laser Nerd, I take your name serious.
Mark,
I gathered that.
Mark Rotoboss is selling this current rotary accessory. It's the Talon Pro, and when you under the website, under the drop down NEMA 17 motor. So it's just right there.
I see posts from this group every single day. Now I'm searching for the group and I can't find it. But it's something like, oh, you know what it is? Lasers. Let me try lasers buy sell and see what happens. They used to be a pain in the butt too, because they would approve every post, and if you had one picture from the manufacturer, they would deny it. But they stopped doing that. No, it's just not here. Oh, here it is. So the name is Buy Sell Laser Group for Laser Engraving Cutting Machines. So that's the name of it, and maybe I should just put this in the comments because I just found it. Let's see. There.
Ben, if you just do a quick Google search of $2,000 CO2 lasers, you'll have a big old list of them come up across the top of the screen. I just did it.
Yeah.
It's all Momport and Omtech.
There are lots of great deals in this group right here. Buy Sell Laser Group for laser engraving / cutting machines. So if you go to that group, I see a good deal pop up every single day in there. Now, of course, they may not be applicable to you because it may not be in your local neighborhood, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, the only thing for $1,000 that you're going to get is something that's well used. Although a lot of these machines in this group are people that buy them, never get them to work, and because they don't know anything about them, and just decide to sell it. Okay, Q&A. We're getting down to the wire. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. We like to stay between 1 hour and 90 minutes. So we're going to call last call for Q&A. If anybody has any questions that we can possibly answer for you, we'd be happy to.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to wait. So,
And while there's a slowdown, everybody go hit that like button.
yeah.
Got to wait for the delay.
And if you're not a member, if you're not a subscriber on my channel, I would appreciate a subscription. I've passed 90,000 subscribers, on my way to 100,000. I need all the subscribers I get so I can get that little plaque to put up on the wall.
That would be awesome.
I just passed 1,000 here not too long ago.
$2,000 to get a good one. If you're buying it used, you can get a good one for $2,000. In fact, I just saw a Mira 5 from Eon in that group, and it was like $2,400, 3 years old. So
2,400.
2,400, yeah, it's 3 years old. So it's the old series Mira,
Yeah.
but still, I think they posted the hours. It was very low, but I could tell by the honeycomb. The honeycomb was virtually clean. That they didn't use it very much. Thank you, Tim.
Wow.
Paul wants to know if you can link your video to the kerf, your kerf cutting.
Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second. So I got to go to my studio and look for it. That's an older video.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I found
I just got a new laptop dock, but I'm planning on using it with my desktop. I'm just so enamored with it. But you can it has different apps. Like I think it's running Android. But it has the clock, you can have the weather, it has some other stuff, but then it's got all your USBs and 100-watt power delivery and ports.
Huh.
How much was that?
Really cool little device. It was like $40.
Wow. Other than color on some metals, are MOPAs worth it? I think they're worth every bit.
Yeah.
I would never buy a regular fiber anymore. Any word on Lightburn?
Yep.
2.0 general release? Well, I did a video on 2.0, and I said in that video that if it were me, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do this, you would release the general release a week before LBX next month, or maybe even at LBX, one or the other. But yeah, it's coming, and I also believe that they're going to be releasing Milmage at LBX because there's going to be a speaker talking. One of the devs is a speaker at the convention, and he's going to be talking about Milmage. So I really think they're about to launch Milmage as well. Hey, Dave, you're a little late. We're wrapping it up.
Oh, hey, Dave, your new filter box is boxed up. It's ready to go. It'll be shipped out Monday morning.
Jerry's saying, sometimes could you explain how you set up sublayers that engrave and outline the same object, where it works and where it doesn't work? Well, you saw a sublayer tonight in my project, and that was just a line. And I mean, it can work any way that you want, but typically the sublayers are going to be completely different settings. So, for instance, you may have on the first layer, you might have a fill at 90 degrees and a crosshatch. And then on the second layer, the sublayer, you might have a fill at 45 degrees and a crosshatch. And, you just do different settings. Uh, if you go on my channel and you look at, let me see if I can find it.
Master Oscillator Power Amplifier. That's what MOPA stands for.
I don't know. I've had one for 5 years and I still don't know it. I just put an R in the end of it. You got all the power you need.
I don't know. I don't remember what the title of this was, but I don't know if I can find it.
Yeah, basically it gives you control over your pulse width.
Yeah.
Or Q pulse, as you'll hear it referred to.
Yeah, your standard is locked into 200. The other ones, you can move it around a little bit and do some really neat things.
Okay, so yeah, if you go to my channel and you look for, just search the channel for 50 Shades of Gray. I talk a lot about that. So anyway. Oh, I didn't show you what I had that's cooler than yours, Patrick. I forgot. Let me show you. I have something cooler than what you had. A 3D printed pen jig. How do you like that?
That's pretty cool.
It's all 3D printed, and it will plug into the Lasermatic as well.
That's neat.
I usually don't do full wraps on a pen, but you could if you wanted to on this one.
That's funny because I was just going to try to figure out how to do one.
That'd be fun to try.
Yeah. So that I didn't 3D print that. That was sent to me by a subscriber in a box, but doesn't have his name or anything. And he did engrave this pen. CNC. Can't see what it says.
See you, Tony. Happy Father's Day to you, too.
Okay, it says CNC Users Group, Tucson, Arizona. That's what it says. CNC Users Group, Tucson, Arizona. But didn't put any of his details, name, email address, or anything like that. Just sent me that. And I think that's really cool. I used it on the Lasermatic 10, and it worked well. It took me a while to. It takes you a long time to get the steps per rotation dialed in, though. That was kind of hard to do. But after about 30 minutes of doing that, I finally got it dialed in.
Yeah. There's no documentation on it or a tag on it you can look up to find it?
No, it's completely blank. You mean the stepper?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there is a tag on the back.
You have to Google that number and look up that thing.
Yeah.
And usually it can tell you.
Yeah.
Usually. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Well, I just did it with a rectangle shape going all the way around. Just kept changing the steps for rotation. I used an entire pen before I got it right.
Yeah, Lee, Laser Nerd. Yeah, there's 1,000 different people that are going to tell you 1,000 different things on 3D printers. I ended up finding the FlashForge Adventure 5M, and I am in love. I've got 2 of them now, and I'm in love with them.
And that's made by who makes that?
I knew that too. I just watched a video on that.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be like the Laser Nerd, the Bamboo A1, or if you're not in a hurry, the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, which they're starting to ship out now.
Yeah, A1 Mini is
get on the list.
My favorite. The A1 Mini is my favorite. I use it more than I use the Bamboo Carbon, the big one. A1 Mini. definitely the way to go. I mean, if you want to just import a file and hit print, you know, Bamboo is the way to go, in my opinion.
Friend of mine just got a Prusa Mark III from a college campus. They were changing everything out, and he got it for like a song and a dance. He bought him like a tool or something. I don't know how much it cost, but they traded it, and he said, "We need this. Go buy us this. We'll give you the printer." So that's an option too if you go to a college and see if they're getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, Jerry's got it right. The A1 is just, in my book, it's, you know, the best of the best for plug and play. I have that big monster next door over here, but I even forget what it is.
The Full Sun.
Yeah, FL Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, FL Sun.
You got the S1, don't you?
Yeah,
That's a monster.
yeah. It gives good prints, you know, but it does a lot of bad prints too. So you have to calibrate it quite often. Like once a month, you got to do full calibration on it. And there seems to be a lot of firmware updates. Every time I go to print, you know, it's 45 minutes later before I can actually run the print. Okay, well, we're at an hour and 20 minutes, so we're right in that time zone. I'm going to say good night for tonight.
Yep.
And we're going to head out. Has the price stayed steady on the A1? It has. But anyway, we're going to head out for the night, and we'll be back in 2 weeks and doing the same thing with new files. So you're not going to want to miss the next one. So
Happy
good night,
Father's Day
everybody.
to you dads out there.
Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day. Happy birthday to the Army. Good night, everybody.
You in two.